Today we'd like to see how to enable always on cluster in SQL Server 2017, mainly focused on Azure. We targeted this video to use infrastructure as a service, IaaS. Okay, for this we required one virtual machine and configure it as a domain controller and two SQL Server 2017 missions. Okay, before going to initiate, as per Microsoft best practices, we always have to create NSG, Network Security Group, virtual network and its subnets. So how? We'll see how to create a network security group before going to jump into SQL Server 2017. So click on create a resource and type with network security group, and we'll see here network security group and click on create. So here I am creating as ADNSG and I'm going to make it as like I'm going to create a new resource, that is primary resource, calling as a primary resource, and selected location as East US2, or else we can or else I'm creating Southeast Asia and click on create. So it will create NSG. So what is NSG? NSG is used to enforce and control network traffic rules at a network level. So on high level we can say like it is used to allow the traffic, like we can create inbound and outbound rules. So it takes a few minutes to complete to create NSG. So we can click on all resources, ADNSG is done. See here inbound rules, if you want to allow RDP for this NSG, so by simply clicking on add, click on basic and select RDP, and so whenever you assign this ADNSG to your virtual machine, then automatically these um, ports will get inherited. Yes. Now I'm going to create another NSG which is for SQL Server. Network Security Group, create, and SQL Server NSG. Great. I'm going to assign as a same resource and Southeast Asia. And here location is mandatory, and we always whatever we are creating a virtual machines, that is in same region. Hope I think SQL Server NSG is also created. Now our NSG is created. Next we have to create network. So click on virtual networks, add, and I'm named as primary network, and this is an address space which is used to allow a private IP addresses. So I'm mentioning as 50.50.000/16. So it is allowing 65,536 address. This in each and every block is an 8-bit. If I mention like 24, it will allow only 256. This is an address space for this virtual network. So I want to use 65,536 address. So I'm going to select as resource group Southeast Asia subnet, AD subnet. This is the total addresses, this is the total IPs which is supporting by a virtual network, primary network, that is virtual network. But for every virtual network there are multiple subnets. There is a possibility to get multiple subnets. So I'm mentioning as 50.0.0.1/. Yes, our primary network is created. Now click on primary network. That is nothing but our virtual network. So click on subnets. See here, there is an address space 50.0.0./1616. So there is a subnet, this AD subnet which we created. So this AD subnet we have to attach our NSG. So AD NSG and click on save. And I'm going to create one more subnet, that is for SQL subnet. I'm calling as an SQL subnet and I'm assigning as SQL subnet. Click on OK. So now it will create. So it will create AD subnet and SQL subnet, because when we create a domain controller, it has to allocate 50.0.0.1 or 2 or 3. And while creating SQL when you're creating SQL servers, so it is nothing but we are splitting and assigning an IP address. Now our virtual network is set up. Now let's start creating a domain controller. Click on resource and I'm selecting Windows Server 2016. Now there's a resource. If you want to create new resource or select an existing resource, that's up to you. I'm naming as VMDC and it should be in same region, Southeast Asia, and default it is selected DS1. So if you want to change your size, we can. That depends on the price will vary. So I'm setting the password to my virtual machine. I'm not going to allow any ports because my NSG will take care here. So this will take or if you select S, we have to provide a licensing which will save you 50% of this. So I am not going to change any disk. So coming to network, here I have to select a primary network. That is it's nothing but it's a virtual network. So my subnet, I would like this virtual. I'm creating this virtual machine is an AD. So I'm selecting as AD subnet and public IP. Now I have to select my AD NSG here. So here automatically, and we are not allowing to create another NIC, another security group. So here for this demo I don't require any boot diagnostics, just I'm clicking on off and click on the review create. Validation is passed, and for per hour it is going to charge you at 5 rupees 22 paise, and I'm clicking on see. Once we verify our virtual network, I'm selecting as 18 subnet. My IP will be around 50.0.0.4 because till 50.0.123 will use our Azure. So I think it will allocate around 50.0.0.4. So my inbound and outbound rules will inherited from ADNSG. So I'm clicking on create. It is initializing deploying, submitting deploying, yeah. See, our virtual machine is created. I think still it. So when you click on these virtual machines, the status is still creating. Yeah. So it is allocated a public IP address, and when you click on this networking, we can see 50.0.0.4, which is allocated an IP address for this virtual machine. See here, this network group ADNSG, which is associated with while we are creating a virtual machine, we associated ADNSG. So this ADNSG network group, while creating ADNSG, we added RDP to this inbound rule. Automatically it is inherited from that ADNSG. Okay, I'm going to connect to this virtual machine. See, the status is changed to running. So I'm going to connect virtual machine through MSTSC. Yeah, I pasted my public IP address and mentioned as password. Now I'm able to connect my to virtual machine. Let's start promoting this virtual machine to a domain controller. Yeah, yes, the virtual machine is on. The server automatically, the server manager dashboard will also launches. So this server we usually use it to install IaaS and the application deployments, or these all things will use. So click on next, next, and selected a virtual machine. So here I would like to promote this virtual machine as a domain controller. So click on this Active Directory Domain Services, check this one, click on Add Features, and click on Next, 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 Install. So it takes around 2 to 3 minutes to get it done. So then the respective files will get loaded. So then we have to promote this as a domain controller. Installation started on VMDC. Yes, installation is succeeded now. So I'm going to close this window and click on this notifications button. See, promote this server as a domain to a domain controller. So by clicking on this, so it will launch a wizard, and click on add new forest, because I'm creating a new domain. So I named it as sundc.com. Next. So I have to create a password which is used to log in our Active Directory. Again click on next, next. So automatically it will select our NetBIOS option as SunDC. Next. Automatically this Active Directory configuration wizard will select a path, this logs database where we have to store. Automatically it will create a respective path. We don't require to change these paths. See here. So we can review once again. DNS server is create a DNS delegation no. So by clicking on next, it will verify a prerequisites. After this, we have to click install. It takes few minutes to complete. Then we can see Active Directory users. Excellent. Our installation is done. Automatically the system will get restarted. When you click on close, automatically restarting our virtual machine. So Active Directory is installed, so we promoted our virtual machine as a domain controller. Then we have to do now, if it is a domain controller, we have to make it as a static IP address. Click on networking and click on this network interface, IP configurations, dynamic. We have to select static as a primary address and click on save. Remember this IP address 50.0.0.4, and it is making as a static. So we have to assign this IP as a DNS server. So click on virtual networks, primary network, and DNS servers. We are adding this 50.0.0.4 as my DNS primary DNS server. So after adding this, I'm clicking on save. So now each and every system will, whatever the systems attached to this network, so this is going to be my primary DNS. Now my domain controller is running. I'll show you. I'll show you Active Directory users. Yes, our step 1 AD is done. So when I click on tools and click on Active Directory users and computers, we can see sundc.com as domain users. Right. Step 1 is done. Now we'll create SQL server and map that SQL server missions to this network.